welcome to DIY with Nancy. Hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to share with you my recipe for Folares da Páscoa. And Folares da Páscoa is an Easter bread which has eggs decorated on the bread. And this recipe makes three folares. So I'm going to make one larger one and probably two medium-sized ones. And of course, I'm going to make two mini ones that I like to give to my nieces and nephews, or you could share with your grandchildren. So stay with me and watch how to make Folares da Páscoa step by step. First, I'm going to start off by placing 1 3/4 cups of milk in a saucepan, and I'm using 2% milk. To the milk, I'm adding half a cup of unsalted butter and 4 tablespoons of shortening. Next, I'm adding 2 3/4 cups of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and the zest of 1 lemon. Turn on your stove to low heat and let the milk mixture come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you can see that it's bubbling on the top. Turn off your stove. Next, stir it together, set it aside until it's lukewarm. My milk mixture is now lukewarm, and I'm going to start activating my yeast. I'm going to start off with 1 teaspoon of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of active dry yeast. Mix that together. And add half a cup of lukewarm water. Give that a quick stir and set aside the yeast. For the next step, I'll be using my blender, and I'm placing 8 large eggs. I'm using the whisk attachment to beat the eggs for 1 minute. After 1 hour, my milk and butter mixture is now lukewarm. I'm going to stir it together. And now add it to my egg mixture. And the blender is going to mix that together for another 45 seconds. For the next step, I'll be incorporating all the ingredients in this big panna. That's what my mother calls it. It's a big pail, and it's big enough where the dough can rise. I'm first going to start off with adding the liquid mixture from the blender. Next, I'll be adding the activated yeast that I prepared earlier. I'm using my hands to combine the liquid and yeast mixture together. Last ingredient will be the flour, and I'm using 10 cups of all-purpose flour. Next, I'm going to start the kneading process, and this is where my arms get a workout. I'm going to start kneading from the outside in. I'm going to continue kneading for about 8 to 10 minutes, as this is a small recipe, until a sticky dough forms. Once you're done with kneading the dough, you're going to cover it up and you're going to come back and knead it again in 20 minutes. Make sure you keep it in a warm place. "20 minutes are up and I'm going to knead it again." You can see that the dough is starting to rise. Next, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I'm going to place the vegetable oil around the dough, not directly on it. I'll be kneading the dough, bringing it from the outside in, and I will continue doing that 3 to 4 times. Once I'm finished kneading, I will cover it up and come back and knead it again in another 20 minutes. The kneading process is over. I'm going to cover the dough and wait until it triples in size. Generally, it can take anywhere from 5 to 6 hours. Make sure to keep the dough covered in a warm place. The dough has tripled in size, and now I'm going to divide the dough to make the folares. To grease my pans, I'm using room temperature shortening. So I'll be greasing the pans. This one here is a 5-inch foil pan, which you can purchase at your local store. They have different sizes, and I'll be making a mini flawed. So I'm making sure to cover it all the way around, even the edges. The next pan is a 6-inch, and the bigger one is a 8-inch. For the next step, I'll be tearing pieces of the dough and forming a round ball. I'll be placing this flat on a flat baking sheet with parchment paper. Next, I'm tearing a small piece to fill the 5-inch foil pan to make a mini flat. And again, I'm forming a ball to fit the pan. Once again, I'll be tearing the dough to form a ball to fit the 6-inch pan. And I'm just using my discretion as far as the amount of dough I take to fill the pan. For this recipe, I get 3 folares, regular size, and 2 mini ones. The third one I'll be using to decorate the flat on my baking sheet. Next, I'm covering the dough and letting it rise to the top of the pan. You can see after 3 hours that the dough has risen to the top of the pan and we're ready to decorate it for the folares. Next, I'm using a sharp knife. You can even use an X-Acto knife to make holes in the dough to place the eggs. I'm simply using a piece of extra dough that I had and rolling it out to decorate my flat that is on my baking sheet. To decorate my flat, I'm using small eggs and I'm inserting them in the holes that I cut into the flat. Next, I'm using the dough that I rolled out, placing it across the flat and tucking it in underneath. And I'm doing the same thing with the second piece. Here I'm using some medium-sized eggs and I'm placing them in the center of the cuts that I've placed in the flash, just like that. Next, I have here 1 tablespoon of water, and I'll be using 1 egg to make an egg wash and to simply brush the egg wash onto the flash. Finally, you want to place your folares in the oven and bake them at 305 degrees for 1 hour. And the folares are ready and out of the oven
Place them on a tablecloth to cool before you serve.
Okay, everyone, that was my recipe for Folares da Páscoa, Easter bread. And I was able to make 3 folares, 2 medium size in the pan, 1 without the pan, which is a little larger, and 2 mini ones, which you can give to nieces and nephews, grandchildren. They'll absolutely love it. Hope you all enjoyed the recipe. And if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, happy Easter, everyone.